Now I would request Murray Norman to come and deliver his speech.
Thank you very much, Si. My name's Murray Norman. I'm the CEO of Better Balanced Futures. Better Balanced Futures is a collection of all the faith communities: Hindu, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Buddhist. We all come together for the betterment of society. When we had problems a couple of years ago, I stood with Si, Subu, Akila to stand up for the Hindu community in Australia. Violence, discrimination, hate, that's not what we want in Australia. I stand here as a Christian to stand with the Hindu community. You are an important part of Australia, and we want to make sure you are welcome, you are included, and that you are treated well. So I just want to say today, you are an awesome community. You are doing a great job. And I want to talk to you about education, because education is so important to your future. You mightn't be aware that in Australia, the government in New South Wales invites us into schools to teach our religion. So the Hindu community is welcomed in to teach young people from the Hindu community. So Akila, there's a whole group of people going in, as we saw, 30,000 students. The community desperately needs teachers to be trained up. You're doing a great job in training teachers up. We need more teachers going in to teach young Hindu boys and girls, students, to learn their faith. In Australia, the government, which is very different to India, is welcoming you into schools to learn the faith, the culture, and to live that out. We want schools where you are respected, where your faith is encouraged. Part of my role is bringing all the faith communities together. So I work with all the faith communities in helping them to do exactly the same thing, and I come and speak to them about how they can raise people up within their communities. I think it's awesome how many ladies that we've got doing SRE, but I would encourage men as well to step up, because we need men and women training the next generation, because we want young boys to think that religion's just not for women. We want men as well to actually step up, and the investment that we make in our communities is going to have a knock-on effect for a long time to come. You've got great leaders in the Hindu community. We need to encourage them to step up and help in society. We've already heard before about the stats. It's so amazing the growth that we've got in Sydney and Australia. We need education to happen. I'm here today to encourage you. I'm also talking to the government, and I'm going to take a photo if that's all right. I'm very, very keen. We're talking in public schools here that we get a Hindu school for the Hindu community in Sydney, and then we have them all across the country, because it is so important that you have your own schooling system. So in Australia, 2/3 of the system is government, and that's excellent, so every student can be taught. But also 1/3 of those schools are religious, and there's no Hindu school. There's Jewish, Christian, Muslim. We want to make sure that there's opportunity for the Hindu community. So I'm going to take a photo, and that's one of the drums that I'm beating at a state and federal level. You deserve funding for your schools, and the community needs to get behind that, and you need to come as one, as we heard from our speaker before, so that you can come together and that you can support your community, and that provides you a real base from which you can help both public and private schools, and you can help the next generation, because they are and will be the leaders for the future leading your community, and your community is growing immensely from people here but also coming from overseas. So I would encourage you, schooling's really important, you're growing amazingly, and we want to make sure that that continues to happen. When I was in India, I saw the amazing way that your community is actually helping those around them. I would encourage you, don't forget that when you come to Australia. Your community is amazing at volunteering. Please volunteer. Please lend your hand, your resources to fund. You know, you've got temples being built, you've got education facilities coming up out of the ground, people being trained. It's really, really important that you do that. And then you also partner with the other faith communities, because we want to see you do well, and we want to see the government supporting you. It's been great to work with Akila over quite a number of years now. I can't even remember how many. She has been a real warrior for seeing religious education in the Hindu community. I see quite a number of other people that I've been involved in. So I'd like to pay respect to Akila. The great work she's doing, not just in SRE, but also back with Sanskrit and a whole lot of other things. But going into schools is so important. It means that the Hindu community is getting into the population, the Australian population, and people are saying, oh, isn't that great? We've got Christian SRE, we've got Hindu SRE, all the faiths there together, learning how to live as one in Australia. In Australia, we have a very successful multicultural nation, but it's only as we get to learn from each other, as we teach our young people how to live their faith, how to do that in a respectful way, that we can live in Australia peacefully. SRE is really, really important. It means that you can authentically teach religious education to your children. If you have a look up there, there's a number of points. We did research globally that found these points, and both sides of Parliament, state and federal, agree with this. In New South Wales, we have the strongest form of religious education. One of the reasons that Better Balanced Futures, and I'm working with SCI and the Hindu Council, also work with VHP, is looking at how do we get religious education in other states? How do we get people to understand your festivals? I came to Holi. The Hindu Council did a great job of an event with the Premier a couple of weeks ago. It was great to be there, but we need to teach other people about your festivals, Holi, Diwali. We need them to respect them. We need them to understand how your community works and the things that you value. So I would encourage you, keep on inviting Aussies like me to come along, keep on teaching us. When I spoke to Chris, he's very, very keen to engage with the Hindu community. He's very, very keen to work on projects, and that's what we'll be doing with VHP, with the Hindu Council, making sure that we deliver on that. But I just wanted to go through these points with religious education. Through doing religious education, it helps young people understand their identity. As Hindus, as Australians, it helps them to understand what does it mean to be Hindu. It helps them to be able to find their part in a multicultural Australia. We welcome people of faith. We want them to value their faith. We want them to live it out. You're helping them to understand how to do that in the context of a whole lot of faith and even people that don't have faith. It helps with values education. If you teach people your faith, you are teaching the next generations the values that they will hold. And that is so important. To learn to be Hindu, to learn to be able to live that out is so important. It helps with the spiritual well-being of children and families as they grow up. If we've got children that are well taught and are integrated into families that love them and are cared for, and we bring them up as Hindus, it will help them as they integrate and as they live out their lives. One of the other things that sadly that we're having to deal with at the moment is religious bullying in schools. As part of the subcommittee, myself and Surinder Jain, that wasn't able to make it today, is co-chairs of the Faith Affairs Education Committee. The Education Department is just about to release a bullying hotline. It's across all the faith communities. So we're working with Education Departments so that they can actually understand what does it mean for Hindu children when they get bullied. How do we deal with that? As an Australian, I'm keen to see that they're not bullied, but we need to have cultural understandings, Hindu understandings. So we're working with the Hindu community so that we can support them. So just like our previous speaker had said, if you have got issues at school, please speak up to your principal. If you're not getting heard there, please come back to VHP, come back to SCI, the Hindu Council. We will stand up for you. We will make sure you're heard. Yesterday, a couple of days, I've been involved with Swastika. You will have seen with Uber. It's really important that we stand together. Unless all the faith communities actually take on these issues, we're not going to deal with it. It's not one community against another. It's all the communities together. So I say to you here today, the faith communities are keen to stand with the Hindu community. We're really keen to see you step up in the religious education space. The Department of Education, all sides of Parliament, the community is asking you to come forward and train your children and to train all the other children. We want to see that that's done really well. So I would commend you with that. I'm going to take a photo if that's all right, because I want to send it to all my political friends and I want to hit them up for helping get you a school. So I will do that. So if everyone can smile. And I thank you very much for inviting me into your community. It's lovely to be here, and thank you very much to the organisers. Congratulations.